Hi, guys. Welcome back to my podcast. This is Arun Gala. My podcast is called Grabbing Coffee with Arun, where I talk to everyday people that are doing interesting things. And my guest today is Leslie O'Neill. Leslie is uh, what, Leslie? I'll let you
A
talk.
credit and Hi, I'm Leslie, the credit and business coach. Um,
I'm sorry, I got a little tongue tied there.
oh,
So,
that's okay.
to kind of start off with, Leslie, tell me a little bit about what you do.
Well, my goal is to help people understand how to use credit properly, how to build business the right way rather, and how to move from being mostly using credit in a survival mode
Hmm.
and versus you should be using it strategy, right? Strategize using credit versus survival mode because most people use credit to keep themselves out of certain or to pay bills, right? And we
Right.
call it survival mode. And so I try to teach and educate individuals the education protects your credit or even protects your business.
You know what's interesting, Leslie, is that it's interesting that school doesn't teach you that, right?
Right.
I mean, it's kind of sad that, when I went to high school, I don't think there was a class in like, how do you write a check? How do you balance a checkbook? How do you like apply for a credit card? How do you build your credit, right?
Yes, right.
So tell me a little bit about how you go about, say, a younger person. How do you go about teaching a younger person to you know, about money and how to um, strategize as they get older and live in a productive society.
Well, one thing basically was talking about credit and managing credit. And mostly when individuals getting out of school, the first thing they inherit is financial aid, right?
Right.
And then they have to pay these loans back. And then they may get their first credit card. And one thing I educate them on is understanding credit utilization. Because
Hmm.
if you look at the pie chart, that is one of the biggest things that's 35% of your credit score. And understanding the importance of credit utilization and other things that's on that pie will help them understand and help them to strategize. So, for example, let me say you buy a house, right? If you buy a
Right.
house, guess what happens? They can take your house if you don't make that payment, right?
Right.
If you purchase a car, your car can get repossessed if you doesn't do not make that payment. But credit cards, if you purchase a credit card, actually they pretty much lose. The lenders are higher risk for lenders when they're doing a credit card. So that plays a very important, a major important part when you are managing credit cards because your score is like a big percentage from that. And you don't want to have late payments and paying on time and understanding what the credit card should be used for versus a lot of times when we're young people think it's money because honestly I could tell you a story about myself,
Hmm.
how I didn't know myself how to manage credit and understanding the value of credit. And I remember I was a single mom, 3 kids, and I had to decide pay light bill or pay rent late, right?
Right.
And I was living paycheck to paycheck because I refused to have my children living in certain areas of Houston, right? And
Right.
I made sure they was in a very good area because I really wanted the best from them. And so I remember going through that struggle in my life, and I remember not understanding credit and thought credit was just like money. And I made mistakes, right?
Right.
And then I learned how to manage credit. I learned how to strategize. And That's why I'm doing this today, because I love to educate individuals so that they don't make the same mistakes I did
Leslie, to be
when I
honest with you,
started off.
right.
Mm.
But what I don't understand is like, even me, it's like, when you're a young person, you see a credit card, you're like, oh, I'm going to go down to Foley's, or I'm going to go down to, well, Foley's is not around anymore, but, I'm going to go down and just get whatever I want. But no, there's nobody to teach you. Like my dad, I don't remember if my dad sat me down and told me what a credit card was or anything like that, because my first credit card was Palais Royal. And when I got the card, I'm thinking like, oh, I got a card. I can just go and buy whatever I want. And I made a
Yes,
mistake too. So I bought like $200 of worth of stuff that I didn't have that money then.
right.
So we all, I guess it's all, who do you think is responsible? Do you think the school is responsible, or who do you think is responsible for teaching these younger generation how to manage credit cards, how to, I mean, I didn't,
I think they should have financial literacy class in high school. Honestly, I think it should be taught in all sectors, from elementary to middle school to high school. There should be some form of class, kind of to build good habits, because most people use credit to
mm-hmm,
catch up, but it's meant to move forward. So that's the survival mindset that everybody have. Oh, I have a credit card. I can use this to get through the month.
right.
But a strategy mindset is I can use the credit to create options for growth.
Right, because credit card rates are pretty high, right? If you don't pay like like at the end of the month or something, it goes up to a certain percentage or
Well,
something
it
like that.
depends on your credit score for sure. That matters, right? Because that determines your interest rate. And
Right.
as we know, low scores get a higher interest rate than someone versus a higher score.
Yeah, because I read somewhere where these auto companies, when they finance a car, they make a lot more money on the car than the sticker price, right?
Well, yeah,
Because they
depending on
finance.
your credit.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
This,
tell me how you got started in this business.
well, like I stated, I kind of went through. Um, there was a time, okay, like I told you, I was living from paycheck to paycheck
Hmm.
and using credit just to survive and making hard choices between, bills and emergencies. So I didn't understand that. And like I told you before, and you're going to hear me say this throughout our conversation, credit isn't for survival, it's for positioning. So once I learned everything, I just decided to say, you know what? I would love to learn more legally on how credit works, because there's times that lenders do things that we don't know on a
Right.
legal standpoint, right?
Hmm.
And I was always wanting to know or understand the rules for credit.
Hmm.
And understanding those rules, one portion of it is learning the laws surrounded around credit, understanding how it works, understanding the companies and what they what they do, and understanding the history. Because I don't know if you remember, in the 1980s, people start using credit more. That's when this was pretty much developed. Because beforehand, I remember my parents buying their house,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
Um, and then all of a sudden in the 80s, you start hearing people getting credit cards, retail credit cards. And a lot of them who were getting credit cards then, they didn't understand it. It was just like, oh, extra money. Oh, I could work it out. But again, too much of anything can be addictive, and also can lead to being in that survival mindset.
I remember I had so many credit cards at one time. I mean, I just I set them on the table. I think I counted like maybe 17 at one time. Just cards. And my sister's like, "What are you doing?" And she helped me.
Uh-huh.
She helped me. She said, "I hope you're not charging all these." So she went through one by one and cut them and helped me narrow it down
Yeah.
to maybe like two. And I just thought it was kind of, they look cool on the table, and they look kind of, they're flashy and all that. So, But
Yes.
what do you think is the biggest problem with the generation of kids these days that um,
I think the biggest problem with credit, people think credit is money. I think
right?
that's the biggest problem.
That's a
It's rather
misconception, right?
it's it's access, right? It's opportunity, it's leverage.
Right.
When you use it the right way, it can help you qualify for housing, help you build your business, and help you create stability.
So where does one start? Say, for example, I guess the best place is to start in high school, right?
I believe, yes. And I'm working on a couple of plans now. Waiting to a couple of plans. I'm working on a couple of workshops as well as webinars. Um, got a couple of things projects in place, and I'm looking forward to even coming back to your podcast. And once I get those, you know, um,
In place.
established, yeah, in place, then I can come back and we can talk more about it.
So how early do you think, from your experience, is it best to start with these kids? Is it best to start like when they're in elementary, or tell them what money is, or wait till high school,
I
or
I
what do you?
believe elementary, as I mentioned earlier.
Hmm.
I think if you start training from young and training the mindset of understanding it, I believe that a lot of Americans will not be in debt right now, a high debt
Yeah.
towards some of these lenders.
What about people that are like, in their 50s and 60s that have been through, like, they just kind of ruined their credit? Where do they start?
Once they realize it, it's kind of like anything, right? Life happens,
Right.
right?
Right.
Life happens, and I mean, if they serious about it and they're ready to move forward. Because I always tell any new customer I have, I can help you, but I have to hold you accountable, and also have education courses for you, because the goal is understanding how did you get here, because
Hmm.
life happens to everyone, including myself, and things will happen. And so how do we get here? What can we do to prevent it from happening again? And every person's situation is different. Some of my customers, I help them with their budget a month, how much they get paid, how much they want to put aside. Sometimes we talk about those type of plans, and then we talk about, okay, how do we want to pay out certain debt that they accrued or anything like that. So it depends on the customer, what their needs are, and then we go forward and say, well, how can we meet those needs? I never sell a story overnight. Oh, I can fix your credit overnight. I let them know that. We do coaching sessions, and some people look for quick fixes. I'm not
Right.
a quick fix um, person.
Yeah,
I
a
I
lot of these
truly
companies,
educate.
some of these
Right,
companies advertise that, right? But
right.
talking to you, Leslie, makes me realize that I really wonder, and I'm not trying to put nobody down. I wonder how many people actually know how to balance a checkbook. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
And one of the things I want to tell you, emotional truth is, a
Mm.
lot of people are not irresponsible, right?
Hmm.
They were just never taught. Especially you got single parents like myself, first generation, builders, people who's in survival mode. Credit becomes a tool for emergency instead of a tool for growth for a
Mm.
lot of people, just like myself, right? So I want the people to know out there that education protects your credit and strategy protects your future. And once you learn what credit is meant for and how to structure it and how to align it with your goals, you move from reacting to planning. And that's what I tell all my customers when they are clients, when they hire me.
But do you work on like individuals too, one on one, or?
Yes, I do. I work on individuals. Everything we talk about is strictly confidential, of course. And I have one-on-one coaching sessions. I help them if they want to do it themselves, fix their own credit and have me on the side for whatever needs. Um, it's different packages, right? I also do business packages as well because a lot of people will get an LLC, EIN, and they say, oh, they think they're structured. And some people are not in compliance. Some individuals don't even know what a record book is, right? So
Right.
on the business side, I help as well. But speaking more about the credit portion of it, yes, I do coaching. I'm one on one with my clients. I hold them accountable. We have bi-weekly coaching sessions or monthly coaching sessions.
But how do you deal with like this is just a question that I have. Say like somebody's got X amount of money or something and they don't want to really discuss that with you. How would you how do you deal with that? Because they don't want to show you what they have or whatever. I
Then
guess
they're
that
not ready. They're not ready.
right.
I don't. I think my system
Hmm.
processes out people who's not serious about what they want.
Because talking to you, Leslie, I just realized because since I'm visually impaired, I
Uh
think
huh.
it's a bigger I think it's a big problem in that because I don't know if you know where 1475 West Gray is, which is a building.
Yes.
It's a building. It's a City of Houston building. There's some blind groups there. I think you would be an excellent speaker for people like that are visually impaired and that are handicapped because they don't know how to manage their money. That I don't think they even some of these people don't even know how much money they have or
Mhm.
how to manage it and stuff like that. I mean, what
Well,
is
I
a
think
credit
we should
card?
put something together. What you
Yeah,
think?
I can probably introduce you to a couple of the groups and maybe you can talk to them and see you can. Um, let's see, was there anything else that I'm trying to think of? Um, let's see. So,
So I can tell you what I would like to say.
go
You
ahead.
know, my closing thoughts, if you want me to add that in, but I can tell you that credit is, sorry if you hear that background, sorry about that. But credit is not about impressing people. It's about creating options, stability, and freedom. And once people understand that, it can give them a sound about,
Hmm.
it's kind of like it could get them a good feeling about what they're doing versus them stressing out because credit is not supposed to be to stress you out. Oh, I have all these bills. But once they understand it, then they can use it to benefit their plans and their goals or growth that they're working towards.
But Leslie, what gets me more than anything, I got some friends, they'll say, "Oh, I can just pay the minimum payment." I said, "Oh my God, no, please don't, because if you do that, man, you're gonna be paying for the next 50 years, Uh,
Yep, and it just depends on and that's where education comes from, right?
right.
Understanding that side of it. And I have an ebook that will be coming out soon. Um, hopefully, again, I would love to come back to your podcast
Is that on
when
Amazon?
I am going to be going through Amazon. Yes, it's near completion. Once that book is out, I talk about myths. I talk about similar conversations we had today, and I would love to come back to your podcast again once it's published.
So tell me a little bit about how people can reach out to you or get in contact with you, your social media and all that.
Yes, you can follow me on social media, Leslie, the business and credit coach, or you can say at LESLEYONE5, or you can reach out to me at CLIFF Climber CLIMBER Restoration at gmail.com.
Okay. I'm trying to see, was there, I guess we pretty much kind of covered everything on this episode. Um, Leslie, it was really nice having you. My name is Arun
Yes.
Gala, and I can be reached at arun.gaalla@gmail.com. Leslie, it was nice having you. Thank you for your
Yes.
information.
And thank you for having me. And I'm looking forward for another discussion
All right, take care.
over coffee. Have a good
Bye
one. Bye
bye.
bye.
Bye. Bye.